a white male charged in black church murders 40 years later. Put it up. Hell of a story here. Almost 40 years later, Erik Sparre, a Georgia man, was charged with murdering a couple at a black church in 1985. According to WJBF, the 61-year-old was arrested and charged with felony murder and aggravated assault for the murder of Harold and Thelma Swain nearly 4 decades after committing the crime. Erik Sparre was arrested in Waynesville, about 90 miles east of Savannah, Georgia. That's according to the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation. He had previously denied murdering the couple, but a new investigation into the Swains' death began after the original suspect, Dennis Perry, was exonerated on DNA evidence. In 2003, Perry was sentenced to life in prison after a jury convicted him of murdering the Swains. Perry spent 2 decades in prison for a crime he never committed before he was ordered a retrial in 2020. This is a picture from the Innocence Project. According to WJBF attorneys for the Georgia Innocence Project, tested DNA, hair from hairs found in the hinge of a pair of eyeglasses left next to the victim's body, which matched the actual killer, who was an early suspect. An investigation by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution found that the actual killer's original alibi, that he was working at a grocery store during the time of the killings, they were actually false. Who found this out? The Atlanta Journal-Constitution. A reporter did. All right, a reporter. The publication also reported that the killer's ex-wife, Emily Head, told police, he confessed to the murder in a phone message that was allegedly recorded, and noted that jurors in Perry's conviction were never told a key witness was paid $12,000 to testify. Since Dennis Perry was released from prison, he spent all his time reconnected with friends and family. He says he never gave up hope when he was behind bars. Quote, "It took a long time, but I never gave up," Perry told the Georgia Innocence Project in 2021. "This indictment has been hanging over my head for over 20 years, and it's such a relief to finally not have to worry about being accused of this awful thing," end quote. Although he is free, he still has a long road ahead. Georgia is one of 14 states that does not currently have a statutory compensation law to provide financial relief for years lost to wrongful convictions. So Georgia Innocence Project wrote, without one, exonerees like Dennis are left on their own with virtually no support from the state to rebuild their lives. And I've worked on these cases in the state of Georgia for many years. Typically, the Georgia legislature would be the authority or the body that would basically create a resolution and pay the individual for their suffering. All right, you never can pay them truly for it, but at least that was a remedy. That was before the polarization of Trump. Now, because of the politics of polarization, it's very difficult to even get a message to a bipartisan committee to do this kind of work anymore, when we know good and damn well it is worthy to be done. Now, in this case, you have a white male who committed the crime and another white male got blamed for it. Finally, due to some simple investigation, some actual intent by a reporter, and a test for DNA, you have the right individual being held accountable. There's no telling how many others could have been victimized by the person who committed the crime in the first place. And an innocent man behind bars for something he never did. I don't care what race that person may be. It is injustice, period. All right? Senator, thoughts here?
Glad to see that Mr. Perry got physically free. Mentally, he's probably never going to be free. His life has been forever changed. But thank God for the investigative journalists. Thank God for the Georgia Innocence Project. Thank God for the Innocence Project just across the board, Doc. They
Right.
have definitely helped so many people across this country. And thank God for the science that
That's right.
proved that he did not do it, and finally some justice for the murders and them having the right man at this point. But it really is a shame, Doc, that he got to be on his own financially. I mean, you already done ruined the man's life, and now he got to fight like hell to try to get some enumeration. It's
Yeah.
really sad.
And,
Yeah.
and it speaks to the heartlessness of all of these so-called Christian, Republican, evangelical legislators.
Yes. Yes,
They
sir.
care so much about God and Christ, but it doesn't reflect in, it doesn't
And
permeate
their
in the
policies.
legislation. That's right.
That's it.
That's
That's
right.
it.